It's great to be here with you all. I'm Ray Martinez. I'm the president and CEO of the Texas Association of Community Colleges. I have the privilege of working with community college presidents and chancellors across our great state of Texas, three of which are here on the stage, and I have failed already in one regard. I didn't bring their bios with me. I know them pretty well. But of course, Dr. Greg Williams, the president of Odessa College since, I believe, around 2007, Dr. Williams, and a graduate of Odessa College, if I'm not mistaken. Dr. Jeremy McMillen, president of Grayson College since 2012, if I'm not mistaken, and a first-generation college student. I know a few things about these folks. Dr. Ricardo Solis, a longtime friend, previous president at Laredo College, and for the past 3 or 4 years now, Dr. Solis, you have been president of South Texas College and a tremendous leader down in the Valley. So with that, I welcome the panel to the stage. Glad I didn't blow that part because these are my bosses. They could start something. So let's do this. Instead of bios, which really would have taken up our entire 30 minutes, how about if we do 1 minute snapshot of your institution to let the audience know about your college. Just say, Dr. Williams, if you don't mind my starting with you, just a minute or so, a bio of your institution. Like what are you, your enrollment and a few things that you're proud of back at Odessa College. More than a few things I know, but a few things you can say.
Thank you, Ray, and thank you all for having us today. And proud to be here with you. 1 minute is not fair.
I know.
That is not fair. But I hail from Odessa College, and I've been at Odessa College, as Ray said, since 2007. We have been in existence since 1946. We are Odessa's community college. We, again, 20 miles down the road from McMillen College. We serve West Texas really, really well. I think we're doing some really innovative work at Odessa College. I've been there. We've had some difficulties since I arrived, and I said, let's just do our thing, and let's be the most innovative college in America. And so we're that college that gives away the first class free to any student who wants to try our college from anywhere in the world. We're that college that gives away a brand new Ford Mustang each and every year. We've done that for 16 years. And every 5th year we throw in an F-150. You know, we're the Wranglers. So we do our thing. We are that college that has had 11 fall record enrollments in a row. 11, remember COVID. 11 in a row, and we're about to have our 11th. Dr. Hicks, I know you know it. I'm preaching up here. We're about to have our 11th spring enrollment record as well, 11 in a row. A lot of neat things are happening. We're that college that decided to do 8-week courses and to do it well, and it's been really, really impactful for us. I could say much more. I've probably gone over my 1 minute already, but good to be here with all of you.
Grayson College, we're trying to be Odessa College. No, we have been in existence since 1965, served Grayson and 1/2 of Fannin County, north of here, about 65 miles. We have 4,250 students. Our enrollment is on the rise. We grew 8% this last year, actually 9%, I think, in the spring. And so we see an increasing trend of population moving into our area. Texas Instruments and Global Wafers have announced $35 billion worth of semiconductor investments in our space. For perspective, the total taxable value of our community is not much more than that currently. So it's radically shifting what we do at our college and how we need to think about where we're going in the future. We have a strong history of doing things like 8-week classes and improving student success. Our Promise program is fantastic. Our director's here, Tiffany, Francis, and team members are here. Our enrollment has gone up consistently, and as you saw in the video, by the way, it's not fair to show a video that I haven't seen because I love seeing our students, and it gets me so pumped up. I know most of those students and their story, and it's just so exciting to see our students. We want to transform students' lives. We have 3 goals: have students commit to the college and their career, connect to the college, and complete what they start. And we laser focus on that, much like you talking about time to degree and hours to degree. Those are really North Stars for us. We've seen dramatic improvement in student success. We just know we have further to go, and we're looking forward to continue to learn with that. So glad I took a phone call from Eric, and also Emily was very persistent on the Promise program. Look forward to talking more about our college.
Thank you. Yes, good morning. My name is Ricardo Solis, president of South Texas College, and it's great to be here. Of course, I have many stories that I want to bring up, especially later, of why and how did I even get into higher education. So 15 years ago, I was in a totally different field, but it all has to do with the role of the community college plays in workforce. As you know, South Texas College, we're down right on the border. We are a large system, 6 campuses, 3 counties. Approximately, our growth is, unlike my friends over here, has not been robust, but it has been stable. And that's for many factors. You know, once you get into a large size, it's very hard to keep that size. We have about 31,000 students. That's including dual credits, and it's been stable. But of course, after the pandemic, we saw a decrease, a substantial decrease for many factors that you can imagine. But we have been focusing a lot on our programs, especially certificates, which I know we'll be able to discuss in a while, and diplomas, and why we're going to that direction, and how that is going to really alleviate and respond to the demand that we're talking about, the gaps and the need for workforce. I think that is the key of our discussion, at least for us. The HB has been a tremendous asset for us to continue with our direction. The college, as you can imagine, of course, we're about 96% Hispanic, and our demographics, of course, they're young, they're growing. Competition is increasing substantially with universities. You know, ironically, now the universities are mimicking what we do. I find, of course, that for me is, you know, that's flattering, because a few years ago, they detested dual credit. They ridiculed the role of the college as a technical vocational. And now we've seen the 2 big universities, I won't mention, you can imagine the 2 large ones in Texas. They are now not only going into dual credit with the high schools, which they oppose, fiercely. Now they're doing continuing education. Now they're doing certificates, micro-credentials. Guess what? We've been doing this for years now and really accelerating, but they see the value of it. And so we're going to have those kind of dynamics of competition. Hopefully one day we'll be able to work together instead of competing, so we won't duplicate these type of efforts, because really it's down to what the community and industry needs. So with that said, again, we're looking forward for this dialogue, and thanks for having us here.
Thank you, Dr. Solis. Well, and that's a great segue, because what we want to do is talk a little bit about House Bill 8, maybe not a deep dive, and I know that we've handed out some materials that should be in front of you that talks about the various specifics of House Bill 8 and how this is truly a transformative piece of legislation that puts Texas at the forefront of outcomes and performance-based funding. Now, I want the panelists to react to, or to give some comments. Some of you heard me address before that a year ago, January of 2023, the Dallas Federal Reserve released a report called All Eyes on Texas. It's still on their website. And it's a report that they commissioned that is specific to Texas community colleges. And it's a substantial report, and one that's very positive about our sector of higher education. But perhaps one of the important takeaways from the report is that the Dallas Fed, through this report, speculates or estimates, if you will, that over the next 15 years, Texas will see the growth of, let's say, around 4 million new jobs or more over the next 15 years. And the report goes on to say that many of these jobs will be in manufacturing, information technology, transportation, construction, healthcare. And they describe a lot of these jobs as middle-tier skilled jobs. And by that, they mean jobs that require more than a high school diploma, but maybe not as much as a 4-year bachelor's degree. And that is the sweet spot for our community colleges. So, Dr. McMillen, I wonder if I could start with you and the impact of House Bill 8 and the changes to this funding model away from contact hours and enrollment towards outcomes and performance, and how that will help our colleges to meet even more. We've already been focused on these middle-tier skilled jobs, but even more so now because of House Bill 8. Thoughts about the impact of House Bill 8 in that area?
So some general framing comments first. One, we've been on a long journey as Texas community colleges to improve student success. In fact, all of us have seen dramatic improvement with our graduation rates and or time to completion or hours to degree. And so because of previously we had success points, we had a model of that, and the support of the Success Center by TAC has really helped us to move the needle. Many of you are funders of that. That's really important backdrop. And that made us have the courage to say we're okay with most of our funding being performance-based because we care about the outcome and we want to focus on that. And when the legislature invests $385 million more into your system, that's a statement that gets the attention of our colleges, but also of our communities. And so it's allowed us to have a different conversation around what we do with our students and within our communities. But it does focus on outcomes, really. How well are we doing with 15 hours of dual credit? How well are we doing with completion of credentials of value? How well are we doing in the workforce? And so really, those things shift the conversation on our campus and allow us to really focus on how to move the needle on those. As it relates to middle tier roles, what I didn't say in introducing our college, if you look at the percentage of contact hours, so we are kind of going away from that. We still have that as a thought process. Grayson College has a higher percentage of career technical education contact hours than any other community college in the state. And so we live in that space a lot and have lived in that space for a very long time. So we already have those deep connections with employers, but it is changing those conversations, especially as we're accelerating. We've brought on 4 brand new programs, 1 in the health sciences space and 3 in the semiconductor space within the last year. Again, being able to align those with this program. Some opportunities we have is in the short-term training area, and how do we make sure that we know what's fundable, what's valuable. I think that there's some data opportunities there to define what is a credential of value there, and so we want to learn as we go. We think this is a huge opportunity for us to hit reset and really focus on those things that we know will help students. Classes are important. It's important for our students to complete a class. But when they have a credential that's transportable across the state, and that I've heard Mike talk about this many times. Our competition, universities are competing with us, but our biggest competition is no college, and we've got to change that. And this allows us to really focus on making sure we do more of that.
If you could hand the mic to Dr. Solis. Dr. Solis, your thoughts about the impact of House Bill 8 on these middle tier skill jobs, the programs and opportunities that South Texas College offers, for example, on the workforce education front, and how HB8 is going to help you to expand those course offerings.
Yes, certainly. Definitely, the House Bill 8 has been a big welcome for us because it's based on performance. And this is what community colleges, all of us, do best, delivering the most relevant education and the biggest demand. And I hope there's no university people here, because here I go again bashing them. But that's reality. It's an old, archaic, antiquated educational system that's been around for over 2 centuries. On the other hand, community colleges, we are constantly changing and pivoting. I know I don't need to lecture on how the colleges work or what our role is, but many times the community, the parents, worse, the high school counselors don't understand the role that we play or how we can now be their response. Fortunately, with this, it has brought incredible awareness amongst the communities, House Bill 8, because now it's on performance, and it's on delivering what's the most accurate and relevant careers and workforce. And we're so excited about that because all of us have been doing this for years. In regards to South Texas College, very quickly, we're the youngest community college in the state. We just turned 30 years, started from 0 up to 30,000 in less than 30 years. And we offer 5 bachelor's degrees. So people are shocked that from leadership to all the way to BSN in different areas in technology primarily. But they're all geared towards workforce. Back to your question, there's 2 areas that I can go on and on of all the programs that we are taking advantage of with this new performance-based funding. But we have focused and accelerated in 2 areas. Primarily the biggest demand, health careers, being that there's so much interest in that. And we developed, of course, we expanded on our LVN programs. To that extent, we are so proud of it that when you combine the LVN, ADN, and RN programs that we have, we're the largest by far than any institution in the state of Texas in the amount of nursing professionals that we produce. That's over 500, to give you an idea. That's an incredible amount, and because we open every three semesters, we have basically groups coming in year round because there's so much demand. And we were able to basically leverage with all the local hospital systems to help us in funding. And of course, as you all know, the biggest challenge is the lack of faculty, right? Credentialed, available, and willing to work faculty in the nursing areas. We were able to get the county and the city and the hospitals all to pitch in millions, specifically geared towards faculty for retention and for salaries. That was my biggest. By the way, I've been there a little bit over 2 years only at South Texas. People think I've been around forever, but no. Just because I've been on the go, that's why. But in the health, that has been our biggest area where we've been able to really stick out. And back to what he was saying earlier, Jeremy, the credentials, the certificates, that's the key, especially when they build up all the way to the BSN. That has been the key for us, and I'm thinking, of course, many of you as well. The credentials from phlebotomy, CNA, all those entry-level ones, to associate's degree, then to the bachelor's degrees. And that is, again, that has been our approach to it. Now, in the other far extreme area besides health, I know there's a lot of interest, of course, in cyber and computer. We focus on construction technology, the huge demand on construction. Also the same way, we have credentials from non-credit, so they can go into credit, and then, of course, to associate's degree to be able to obtain a degree in construction management. There's huge demand, because everybody, you've seen the construction, the demand. I think you all know all the horror stories that if you want to get something done, you know, how long it takes to find, you know, people to build for you. But the key for us, and I think for all of us, is to get these people, and there's a lot of 30, 40, 50-year-olds out there that without a degree, but they need that type of credential. So to get them in, our success has been to grow these programs, and we have a waiting list for these programs too, is to get them through continuing education or through certificates. And then to show them that with this you can remain, yes, you can go to the workforce, or you can continue with us. So for us, it's not the numbers, but it's quality, the amount of degrees that we can get people completers. That is really going to be the success for all of us. And I'm looking forward for more discussion.
Thank you, Dr. Solis. Appreciate that. Dr. Williams, you know, one of the perhaps most innovative aspects of HB8 is that these short-term credentials, non-credit-bearing short-term credentials, are regarded as fundable outcomes, as credentials of value under House Bill 8. Now, we pride ourselves at our community colleges for being open enrollment institutions. We offer excellence with regard to our academic programs, our workforce education programs, and continuing education short-term credentials. That's certainly true at Odessa College. I was at your campus when Governor Abbott visited, and you gave him a tour of a welding shop that you all have there. But if you want to highlight some things about HB8 that will help expand the success that you're already having at Odessa College with some of these credentials.
Yes, sir. First of all, I'd like to apologize to the audience because I'm not at my best today. So please forgive me. I expected my team to be playing this week. My Cowboys, but we're not. And those TV stations, they want to remind me of it every time. You know, I walk by one, especially if ESPN is on somewhere for some reason. So I apologize to the group. I'm working under duress today. And I want to yield all of my time to Dr. Solis because he's spitting today, and he's spitting that knowledge about universities and others. So we could do that. And but I will add, yes. To your previous point, and I'll get to what you just asked, Ray, but your previous point when we talked about the middle tier and where we will make such a difference there and how House Bill 8 will help us. Let's not forget that middle tier that we control is on top of what we do with the upper tier. I think people forget about that. We contribute tremendously to those students who will have those, what some would consider upper tier jobs, because they get their start with us. They get their foundation with us, and we help them. We help them to understand and believe that they can actually do that. so that they can become that doctor, lawyer, whatever they want to become. We give them that support and we give them that encouragement. We control that middle tier as you talk about, and we help people to find jobs. As you said, Governor Abbott was on our campus recently. He was highlighting our welding program. And a welding program is very, very important in the energy industry. We have students who can make well over $100,000 after gaining a little bit of experience and can do much more, open their own businesses, do all kinds of things, become very, very well off by getting their start at our community college, getting those credentials. So we help those students in a CE environment to get started. We give them degrees with those types of programs. So we were honored to have the governor there and to highlight what we're trying to do, because we want to give students opportunities to be all that they can be and to give them hope. And House Bill 8 will allow us to do even more of that. Again, Odessa College is a Hispanic serving institution. Over 60% of our students are Hispanic, doing very, very well. And those students are taking full advantage of the opportunities. House Bill 8 gives us another reason to tell them, you can do this. We can support you. And we're going to continue to do that.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. Appreciate that. I know that our time is very limited. Dr. McMillen, I want to just, before we move off of House Bill 8 and pivot to sort of the ecosystem that Chancellor Flotis brought up in his comments, you serve on the Standing Advisory Committee for House Bill 8, for a new community college advisory committee that was created as a result of House Bill 8. Can you talk a little bit about your role in that committee and what they do specifically in the rulemaking process?
So the Standing Advisory Committee is to take, in a very quick manner, the legislation and turn that into rules, and worked over this summer, last summer, to do that. And the current dollars flowing to our colleges today are off of House Bill 8. That's record time, did that with emergency rules. The commissioner really did a great job helping us lead through that. Those conversations are continuing around what sort of what all things did we get right and what do we need to maybe modify some. And so those conversations are ongoing with the commissioner. I think there's 12 of us on there, and it's CEOs, chief financial officers, I think institutional effectiveness folks, CE. Because of this short-term credential, how do we figure out how to do continuing education and new reporting and all that? So that group's very, very active in talking about sort of next steps on that, and I'm honored to be a part of that. The overarching comment I would make is all the conversations with the commissioner are focused on our North Star of helping students be successful and helping transform Texas. I think that he's got a heart of trying to do that. Sometimes it's not easy to do that perfectly in policy, right? But I think his heart's in the right place, and I've enjoyed being a part of that.
Appreciate that, Dr. McMillan. I'm going to stay with you as we wrap this up, because I know you want to say some words about the Texoma Promise program that you all have at Grayson College. And as Chancellor Flotis said, the ecosystem and the importance of the post-secondary, the K-12, workforce, local and regional workforce alignment. The ecosystem is broader than that, but certainly for a community college, those are key strategic partners. And talk about that for Grayson College and how the Texoma Promise program helps to shine some light on greater success for students that enroll at your college.
So Texoma Promise, real quick, contact from Eric, hey, we need to get going on this, and it was a very aggressive timeline. I said yes. The team really implemented that well. They paid the price for doing something on a quick timeline, but the results have been phenomenal. In this decade prior to the pandemic, we were declining in our college going rate among our high school graduates 7% over that time. And we had to turn that around. When the pandemic hit, 20% decline in that 1 year. And so we have to do something. And so the promise became our something. The technology backbone, the infrastructure, the collaboration. We already have strong relationships with our ISDs, with dual credit. We're able to mobilize them, get them involved, move this promise program forward. The first year, 35% increase in direct-to-college enrollment amongst our high school graduates. Second year, 15% increase over that previous success. We had the most diverse entering class of any entering class at the college. They mirrored the diversity of our high school graduates. And we're proud to say they also brought some additional challenges to us, less preparation. So we were a little concerned about how we support them. As you heard Tiffany talk in the video, we had higher success among our Texas Home Promise students than we did of the non-promise students, and actually of any student group prior to having the promise. When you invest in people and they know you care about them, and you do that in a way, we have 10 university partners. So if a student wants to come to Grayson, we're providing the backbone, but if they want to go to university, they can do that too. Data Eric shared the other day, we were dipping below 50% in college going rate among our high school grads. We were at 55% this last year. And it is about the ecosystem and how do you accelerate within that ecosystem. And when something happens like your economy effectively is going to double in the next several years, you need those partners. You need that foundation to be laid where they understand you're serious about building an ecosystem. And so in the course of the last 3 months, I mentioned some programs we launched. We launched an electronic certification, we launched an automation certification, and an associate degree in electrical engineering technician for the semiconductor space. So we did that last June. We want to partner with our ISDs to do that in their locations. Brought them to the table. Over the course of the last semester, we've got 3 partners that will launch those programs in their schools this August. We've got a 4th partner that's coming online after that. Our board is looking at how do we expand those facilities on our campus. When you do things for the good of the whole and you try to transform the ecosystem, people know that and they're going to come and help you to do that. And so we're experiencing that. The promise is critical for us in that.
Thank you, Dr. McMillen. Dr. Williams, I think you all have a Wrangler promise that's coming online pretty soon. Any thoughts about this ecosystem approach and building those partnerships locally?
Yes, sir. And again, proud to work with Dr. Ban and his group and his team helping us with that. We officially kick off this next fall, but we've been telling our students about it. We've done some really good things at Odessa College, and I think this is going to be one of the most impactful things that we do. I think and also let me allude to not only the Wrangler Promise, where every student knows now in our community, in our region, that they can go to college. College is not too expensive for you. That's a great thing for our students, because some of them, they give up while they're in high school because they don't realize, they're economically insecure. So they don't understand about college. They don't believe that they can actually do it. It's like, I was thinking about it. Many of them, if you think about it, many of them don't know the fine nuances of what kinds of steak to order when you go to a restaurant, right? Should I get a ribeye? Should I get a filet? Should I get, because they don't think in that space, right? But these promise programs allow them to think in that space. The FAST program, as a part of House Bill 8, allows dual credit students to go to college. Well, let me start again. Many of our dual credit programs that were leading to transfer had community colleges subsidizing rich folks. So the people who could afford to send their students to University of Texas, Baylor, all the other places, they were taking full advantage of dual credit. The students who had no economic resources, many of these courses might cost you $6,000, $7,000 somewhere. They couldn't afford to pay $150 for it. So now they can get it free of charge, and they can start, and they can be as effective and have that same head start that others have. TEOG is also in House Bill 8, and that will give people who are economically disadvantaged an opportunity to actually think about college. We say, why don't you want to go to college? Why don't you believe? They didn't think they could afford it. They knew they couldn't afford it, and then they hear about student loan debt, and they hear about how disabling that can be. They didn't want to be a part of that. Now they can start their educations through House Bill 8 support, through these promise programs, and again, the sky's the limit.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. We are just about at time, but Dr. Solis, I want to give you the last word. I know that you demonstrated a long history of building partnerships. Anything you want to say about these strategic partnerships that you have with South Texas College?
Yes, certainly. The partnerships have been key to us. In addition to the advising, academic, restructuring, advising is one area that we see that needed a lot of emphasis. So using this new mechanism, this new model, advising to be critical. That's why I mentioned the background of the misunderstanding, the demographics of not comprehending the role of the college, And because, especially students now, like I mentioned, we have a lot of 20, 30, 40-year-olds that they just want immediate entry into the workforce. So with these type of advising with the funding, that's going to be able to help us tremendously. Regarding to other type of partnerships, we developed a very unique one with all of the industry, the manufacturing, the automotive there in the Valley, in addition to the hospitals. Created a summit, a workforce summit that we have, and now I think we're going to do it. This is our second year, and again, with the promise has been remarkable. Of course, with Cox and the promises. Now we have a new program that we just started called Valley Promise, and we're going to be covering the entire region there. And so we're excited about all the opportunities that it's going to bring us.
Thank you, Dr. Solis. Before we thank the panel, anytime I see any of my bosses in the audience, I have to acknowledge them. So Tyler Junior College has had great success with their Promise program. Dr. Juan Mejia. And a round of applause for our panel here. Thank you all so much.